I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step formula that we use to help contracting companies grow their brand. And it's all predicated on one main idea, and that is to grow brand trust. Because when you really think about it, the more trust that you have with somebody, the more likely it is that you are going to actually do business with them. So we'll walk you through every step of the buyer's journey, show you how you should be touching your potential customers at that point to finally grow enough trust so when it is time for them to take action and buy from somebody, they're going to be buying from you. So stick around and I'll walk you through everything. All right, so here's how it all breaks down. Is we are trying to do one main thing, and that is to grow the brand trust. Think about popular brands out there. You've got Apple, you've got Nike, you've got Uber. How often do those brands actually have to market to you to get you to buy their stuff? At this point, the brand trust is so high that they don't have to do anything. And if you walk into a store and see Nike shoes, you're gonna know exactly what you're gonna get and you're gonna buy it, right? So the more brand trust that you have, the more likely it is that you can close someone. And it's actually an exponential relationship between the two. So let me show you what it's like when you have low brand trust. And these are gonna be when you use like a third-party lead generation company, right? You know those companies out there, they don't know your brand, they don't know who you are, they know that maybe they want the service done, but when they don't know your brand, the likelihood that they're actually gonna buy from you is very low, all right? Now, when you start to creep up like this, let's say they've seen, as we walk you through this, they've seen a lot of you, they know all about your company, you've established all the expertise and authority and trust signals that you got to do, there may be somewhere right here, because if they never worked with you before, the likelihood that you're going to close them is a little bit higher. All right, let's say they're a past customer. They have a ton of trust because they've worked with you before, they know you, you're in their sphere, stuff like that. They're higher and they're going to be way up there. So that's why it's way easier and way cheaper. It's like 7 times cheaper to actually convert previous customers into recurring revenue again because they trust you so much. So how do you get there? I'm going to walk you through the buyer's journey. And the entire idea of this, to grow the brand trust so you're decommoditizing what you do. They no longer look at you as just another bathroom remodeler or another landscaper or another home builder. You're no longer a commodity, you are now a brand that when they want to have that service done, they can only go to one person or one company, and that's yours. So let's walk over here and I'll show you the buyer's journey. It's a funnel, right? It's called the marketing funnel, the buyer's journey, whatever you want to call it. It shows the 5 steps that a buyer goes through. First, and this is every single buyer, depending on how fast or how slow they go through it, every single person goes through this. The very first step is going to be awareness. Now, in the awareness stage, this is the time when these potential customers are just trying to figure out, is this service even right for me? Do I even need to get this done? So let's say they want to remodel their kitchen. They're thinking, do I even need to have my kitchen remodeled? Yes or no? They're just trying to get the lay of the land to even see if this is going to be something on their radar in the next X amount of time. So how do you get in front of people like that are just in the initial stages? Well, you're going to do that all through content. All right, if you've heard Tom Reberg, Gary Vaynerchuk, any of these big time, like coaches and marketers and stuff like that, they're gonna push content. And it's because if you're writing blogs and you're shooting videos and you're getting in front of people in the way that you're doing this content and you're just being helpful, saying, here is 2019 kitchen remodel trends. Here are 5 things to look out for when you are repainting your cabinets. Just trying to be very helpful to people because they're going to be Googling this stuff. You're going to keep getting in front of them over and over and over. And what that does is that shows your expertise, E. All right? By showing your expertise in a certain area and educating them, they're going to trust you a little bit more. So now they start to figure out more of like, how do I do this? Is this something that I can do, or is this something that somebody else should do? So when they're in the awareness stage at the very, very top, are they likely to buy? No. They don't know if they want to buy anything yet, or if they even want the service done. They're just trying to figure it out. All right, so at this top part, Very hard to sell someone up there because they don't even know if they are ready for it. But let's say at this top part, you educate them enough, you show them how they actually remodel the kitchen, and they go, man, that's kind of hard. The next thing is gonna be consideration. Maybe they're now gonna go, okay, it is kind of hard to remodel a kitchen on my own. Let me see if I should hire somebody to do this. So what they're gonna do in the consideration phase is figure out, maybe start to go through like, who should be the right company for me? Or at least start to do the buyer intent searches, which could be like, what does a kitchen remodel cost? How long is a kitchen remodel gonna take? What are my options? And at that point, that's when you can actually give them a download. All right, what you're doing in that case is you are swapping something of value for their personal information, which in most cases is a name and an email, right? And what a lot of companies do is they skip this stage because they just think, wow, if I just give them a nice download without getting their email, they'll love all my work and love what I do, and then they'll call me. But that's not the case, because buyers don't know to keep following back up with you and have you top of their mind, because they have so much other stuff going on. You have 75,000 thoughts a day. And if you think that them getting a download, that one of those 75,000 in a month from now is gonna be about your download, you're wrong, all right? You gotta keep getting in front of people again, which is what we're gonna talk about in the desire stage. But in this stage, you are hitting them with or giving them a nice download, so that way you can get their personal information. You're also producing content that is more buyer specific, which again is that, what does it cost? How long should something like this take? What are the best companies in my area for this? So now they're figuring out who they should use. Another thing up there is we put up there Google Display Network. What that is if you imagine websites that will have like image ads on them. So if you say, hey Google, I want you to put this ad on any DIY website for something about kitchen remodels, that's just people who are starting to try to figure out, do I even want this service done? You could put your ad up there. If they click on it, then it shows that they're starting to consider hiring somebody, right? And the whole thing of the A, authority. Now, since you're everywhere in the download, Google Display Network, you're giving the content about what stuff costs, you're showing authority in this space. So you got the expertise, now your authority. And what is the T? The T is trust, all right? How do you get the trust? Well, in the desire stage, meaning they're ready to start to move forward, right? And you're transitioning more into them actually buying. This is where email marketing happens. So now they've given you their personal information, hit them over and over and over. This is called retargeting or remarketing. And the idea is that if somebody downloads your guide to kitchen remodeling, right? We would then put them on like a 10 email follow-up sequence that just kind of teaches them every step of the way of kitchen remodels, to show them, hey, this stuff is kind of hard, right? But we want to show you exactly how it's done, so you know what is going to be happening in your home, right? Because if you skip all that stuff and skip the transparency aspect of it, it's going to be hard to sell somebody a $35,000 kitchen to a complete stranger that is going to come into their homes where their kids live. Like, that is tough. So you have to show them everything, and in this desire stage of just hitting them over and over and over with this email follow-up, and then putting them on some sort of newsletter sequence just to stay top of mind, that is going to keep driving them more and more into, okay, when you are ready to actually get somebody to redo your kitchen, it's going to be us, right? Because they've seen you so many times. Now, here's one of the issues with this, is think about your timeline of how long it takes somebody from the first time they think, I want to remodel a kitchen, until they want to pull the trigger. Some people who are quicker at this stuff, it may take them 2 weeks. Some customers 2 weeks. Some customers takes them 5 years. So some of these people can be, you give them a download, and then now they know what this stuff costs. They're going to go, oh my God, I got to save $35,000. That's going to take me years. Well, in the next 5 years for them to save $35,000, guess who has been emailing them twice a month for 5 years? So when they're ready to buy, they're going to be the ones to call them. It's you. So a lot of people get stuck somewhere between these two stages for a very long time, and a lot of contractors get impatient and they go, I'm done with this. This is taking too long. We're not doing a good job. We're just going to jump. But you need to build this up so when it is time to buy from somebody, you have 5 years of brand trust, or however long it is for brand trust, it's easier to sell to them. So in the desire stage, you're hitting them over and over and over with email, and you're also doing retargeting. So that's like, hey, or like Facebook ads for retargeting is good. Hey, Facebook, if somebody comes on my kitchen remodeling page on my website, or they download this kitchen remodeling guide, I want you to show them a series of ads so you're staying top of mind. And the idea is just like when you go on Amazon and you go to buy those shoes and you go to checkout and you don't actually hit the buy button, you go back into Facebook and guess what ad is right there? The one from Amazon that just seems to somehow follow you around until you buy from them. And that's how the desire stage is you're showing them trust because you're getting in front of them over and over and over. And finally, when they're ready to buy, they're in the action stage. All right, you've been working them over time until they're finally ready. And how do you get them ready? It's one, you gotta have a website, because when they're ready to fill out the form or ready to give you a call, there's gotta be a central location for everything about you that they wanna learn when they're ready to buy. And that's where the websites come in, right? That's why it's so important to have this, because if it's not easy for them to actually do business with you, good luck, right? Because if it's hard for them to give you money, give you a credit card number, pay you or hand you a check, what's it gonna be like if something goes wrong in their home? Because if it didn't even work out before giving you the check, what's gonna happen after you have all the money? It's not gonna look good, and they don't want that. So you gotta have a website that is meant to sell and build trust, so that way when it is time for them to actually do it, you're set. Some people, they don't wanna go through all this, or they go through each one of these stages, but they don't do it online. They do it internally. They don't do their research, so they just go right online and they just search kitchen remodelers near me. And there are some people like that, and that's fine. And that's where like Google ads will come in. So we'll say, hey, Google, if somebody searches for kitchen remodelers and they're in our area, we want to send them to a specific page that gives them just enough information that they go, okay, this is a credible company. I'll give them my name, my email, my phone number, and they'll call me up and they'll sell to me. It's harder to sell to these kind of people because they haven't learned about your brand over and over and over. I'm not saying you can't do it by any means. I'm just saying the brand trust is not necessarily there. You're still kind of a commodity to them. So in this case, let's say they come to that landing page, a specific page from that ad, and they don't actually buy from you. They leave. Well, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna retarget them, because we thought they were in the action stage, but they weren't. They're actually in the desire stage. So we hit them over and over and over until they get back, they build enough brand trust, and now they're ready to buy from you. And that's where the action comes in. And here is the last one that most people skip, the retention. Why is this most important? Because one, like we talked about here, your past customers, it's way easier to sell to them because they already trust you. Two, think about where most of your leads come from right now. I think it's on average like 80% of contractors' leads are referrals. And who is referring you? Past customers, right? Think about people in the consideration phase. They're just trying to figure out who to use potentially. What are they looking at? Reviews. Who's leaving those reviews? Your past customers. So do you start to see the trend of your past customers are like 85 to 90% of your marketing strategy is past customers. So how do you stay top of mind with past customers? Email, right? So if you want to keep this brand trust at a high and this top of mind aspect at a high, you got to keep hitting them over and over and over. Not spammy, not every 2 weeks you're sending them an email that is a new sale that's going on, but if you just keep providing value, then you'll stay top of mind, they'll refer you out, and you're good to go. And that's really how this whole buyer cycle goes. One little pro tip here, every contractor has a lull period for the most part, right? I started doing all this in the, for my dad's company, Pond and Water Features, late July and August. Everybody's out of town. So at this point, how do we make sure there's no lull in work, no lull in leads? Sometime around like late June, early July, this email list that you've been building up over here, you run a sale. Hey, July sale. In the month of July, we'll give 10% off, we'll give some incentive to get people from this consideration phase down to desire, down to action, all in one swoop, right? And that is how you will successfully skip a lull period, right? By giving them a reason to get off their butt and give you a call, all right? And that's all because you already have their email. You can do Facebook ads to your current customers. So let's say you're running a special that you want to sell them again, or you have a new service add-on, you can run that in ads as well. So the idea is to keep this loop going over and over and over, and with your past customers, you almost want to keep them kind of more down here by just staying top of mind as much as possible. So to summarize everything, the more brand trust you have, the easier it is to sell. If I haven't said that enough, that was one more for you. By building the brand trust, you're decommoditizing what you're doing, and make sure you're taking people down the cycle, and you can't skip steps. A lot of people would like to go from awareness right to action, or they skip all these and now they're in action, and now they're pissed off that this third-party source that is getting them a bunch of leads isn't working for them because there is no brand trust. So show your expertise, show your authority, show your trust, bring them down the entire buyer's journey, and build the brand trust so they're up here. Hope that helps. If you like these videos, subscribe. We'll keep them going. The next one that we'll probably do after this is probably gonna be something about how do you do it through email, since I kept bringing that up a lot. So hit the subscribe button and make sure you don't miss out on any other videos. Thanks.